All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the webinar. If you could throw in the chat, you'll see it on the right-hand side of your screen if you are on desktop. So right-hand side of your screen, if you could throw in where you are from. Make sure everything's working on my end. Where are you from? Where are you coming at? Me, California, Knoxville, Tennessee, Georgia, Lake Charles, Louisiana, Austin, Texas. Awesome. Mark, Sean, Keith, glad to have you guys. Trampus, welcome. Eric from Ohio. North Carolina, 2 North Carolinas. Great. Oh, Canada. I love it when we get international. Yes. Okay. Virginia Beach, down the street. What's up, Nick? Yeah, man, you should just be sitting next to me for the webinar. Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, Orlando. Awesome. Got a lot of people on today, which is fantastic. I like it when a lot of people can attend the live portion of the webinar. It makes it a lot more fun, interesting. I can get a lot of feedback. We can do questions. And so keep that in mind. If you have any questions that pop up during the webinar, Ashley is actually here. Joe's not here today. He's off slacking in Hawaii, doing the whole vacation thing. But Ashley is here. As you guys know, from the nutrition side of Into 3 Fitness, she's probably helped a lot of you who are on right now dial in macro plans or do coaching calls or whatnot. She's going to be helping a little bit on the admin side. If you have a question and I miss it, she's going to throw it in our administrator chat so I can see it and answer that question at the end. Some I do answer on the fly if I can catch them, but for the most part, I'm focusing on just presenting the information and giving you guys the best that I have. So she will be collecting that stuff, and then we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, and I will give you opportunity to ask me any question. It can be about anything if I didn't answer it during the webinar, or I mean, if you want to know what color my dog is, I'm happy to answer that question at the end of the webinar too. Really, anything's fair game, and we will go from there. So let's get started. We start with announcements. It gives me an opportunity to tell you guys what's going on at Garage Gym Athlete and Into 3 Fitness, but also gives me a chance for more people to get on because we have a lot of people still flooding in right now, which is really awesome. Welcome, everybody, if you're just now getting here. So we're going to start with a couple announcements. Season 5 of the Garage Gym Athlete podcast is coming at you. This one's going to be different than the last 4 seasons. So the last 4 seasons, we've done a lot of interviews with Garage Gym Athletes. And season 5, we're going to take a break from the interviews, and we're going to give you guys some really robust information on being a Garage Gym Athlete, things that can help you improve, training, mindset, a lot of mindset stuff. And we're going to dive deep into that in season 5 when we release here in about 2 weeks out from season 5 going on. And then after that, we will hop back into our normal, interviews with athletes. So we just want to mix it up from time to time, really putting out the best information we can to help you guys, better crush it in your garage gym. So you have that to look forward to. If you didn't know we had a podcast, go to wherever you subscribe to a podcast. It could be Stitcher, Android, it could be Apple. Just type in Garage Gym Athlete and you will most likely find us, and you could subscribe, listen to all the previous seasons. Like I said, there's been 4 seasons so far of athletes. We interview athletes on how they're tackling things, how they're handling it, and what they're doing to keep things interesting. So go listen to those episodes if you haven't already. Another announcement, Green Dot Challenge is back. We haven't done this since April. It was a lot of fun in April, and we only did it for the 1 month, but we're going to be doing it kicking off in October, probably really getting started next week a little bit before the new cycle officially starts. And what the Green Dot Challenge is, if you open your app and if you've logged everything in the app, you get a little green dot, meaning you finished everything that day. You'll see in this screenshot here, there's a red dot, meaning nothing was logged that day. Orange dot means that you logged some things, but something was incomplete. So we're going to be bringing back the Green Dot Challenge. Pretty simple. You post a screenshot of your week or weeks, and it just shows that you're consistent. You're keeping you're keeping all the workouts. You're getting everything done from the mobility to the recovery game. Everything is complete. And now we just don't do it for the accountability side. That's huge for you guys to stay accountable and be consistent. But another part of it is we actually give stuff away when we do the Green Dot Challenge. So who wants a barbell is what I put on there, because we're going to be doing barbell giveaway, book giveaway, we t-shirt giveaway. We'll be doing a lot of cool stuff, and it kind of ramps up. The more consistent you get, the bigger the prize is going to be, for a lucky green dot competitor, whoever wants to do that. It's a really fun thing that we do in the Facebook group, and I'm happy to be bringing it back this cycle. All right, another announcement. You've probably gotten used to Fit Week, right? So Fit Week is 2 weeks worth of fitness testing that we normally do at the end of the cycle. And I say normally because the last 3 cycles we've done that, but traditionally over the last couple of years, it is not normal for us to do Fit Week, 2 full weeks worth of fitness testing through, after every cycle. The only reason being is it's 2 weeks. It's a long time. It takes a lot of time away from training, over the course of a year. If we were to do that every single time, it'd be, was it 8 weeks worth of not true training. So we try to dial it back at least once or twice per year, but we still like to test at the end of every cycle to make sure that you're still seeing progress and that you are hitting PRs. So what you're going to be seeing rolling into next week is we won't be doing Fit Week as traditional. We would be doing the Fit Test. Now, the Fit Test takes about a week to accomplish. You can do it in a day, but we're not going to recommend any athlete do it in a day because I want true 1 rep maxes, true tests, and all that. So we're going to be doing the Fit Test. If you guys are familiar with it, I'll go over it today in the webinar. But what's really different? Not a lot. We're still testing all the same energy systems. We're testing the 3 main lifts that we like to hit at Into 3 Fitness and Garage Gym Athlete Programming. So we still learn a lot about your fitness. It's just a little more truncated. It's a summary version of what Fit Week stands for. And then we will be doing Fit Week to kind of close out the year at Garage Gym Athlete. So that's going to be a really big deal. The last push of 2018 would be really cool when we get back to doing Fit Week. But we still 100%, and I'll show you over the next couple of slides, are honoring PRs. So any PR, and I have to highlight this because I don't do the best job letting our athletes know, but during Fit Week, or fit testing at the end of every cycle, we will be testing something. We still are going to do PR shirts. So you post in the Facebook group that you hit a PR. You have a video of that PR. Any type of PR. There are lots of people who've done it. You see all these videos. You hit a PR, post in the Facebook group. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. You have to do it. And then you get the PR shirt. We send it to you 100% free. You don't pay shipping. You don't pay anything. We just send it to you. But those are the rules. Some people ask, okay, what if I don't have Facebook? Then create a fake Facebook account and do it just for the Facebook group. The reason we want to do this is because we want it to motivate our other athletes. I want you to hit a PR for sure, but a big part of it is the community-driven aspect, having to kind of not only, make a video of your PR, but submitting it in the group for everyone else to see. So you're probably going to make sure your form is perfect. The community gets to see it. They get to be fired up. They want a PR shirt. So it's a really cool thing for the community. And that's why we require you and don't accept it any other way. It has to be a video and it has to be in the Facebook group. And so I don't think so. I think we're caught up. I'll have to ask Joe. If you haven't gotten one, then that might just be an error, Nick. But you could probably just hop down the street and I can give you one. But another thing, we will be honoring the red PR shirt. So if you hit 5 PRs and you have videos of all of them, you'll be getting the red PR shirt, which is really cool. We sent way more red PR shirts last Fit Week than I expected. I thought a couple people would be hitting 5 PRs. But man, way more hit it than expected. All right, now a few other things. These are kind of housekeeping. I'm going to be sending some emails over the course of the next couple weeks. You're going to be getting a lot of different emails, but I try to spread those out so you don't get, bombarded by me emailing you. But we would really like for you to take the Garage Gym Athlete survey. We'll be sending that out within the first week or two of the new cycle. And I'm just looking for feedback, guys. I want Garage Gym Athlete to truly be the best online programming and community in the world for Garage Gym Athletes. I think that we currently are, but I know that we can get better. And so what I'd like for you guys to do, fill out the survey, let us know what we're doing well, what we can improve on, goes a long way. And a lot of the time, like a lot of the feedback we've gotten in a survey, we start working on implementing right away if we can. And so we do that. All right, now this cycle we will be doing accelerators. This is something new to Garage Gym Athletes. So when you start on a track this next cycle, whether you're on the hard to kill track, whether you're on shred track, strength track, no gear track, whatever you want to do, we will be sending out via email an accelerator for your track. And what it's going to be is a quick breakdown of really tips and tricks for success, but a lot of it's going to kind of be nutrition based. So I'm on the shred track. I kind of have this goal. Where should my macros be? What kind of food should I be eating? And it's like you could also look at it as like a mini course for your track. And we're calling them accelerators because they're going to kind of accelerate you hitting your goals, because we all know consistency in the training is a really big deal, but also dialing in your nutrition to match with your goals is a big part of that, especially with how shred is structured this time. We've been thinking of renaming shred to just like the body composition track, because you can gain muscle or you can lose fat. You could do both. You could do one, you could do the other. Really depends on how your diet's going to be throughout the program. So we'll be throwing in these accelerators 100% just to help you crush it even more on the cycle. And we'll talk about more how to get access to that and what you guys need to do once the new cycle starts. All right, and then I think this is the last announcement. More Meet Yourself Saturday workouts on the way. I have been at the whiteboard concocting some of the most awesome Meet Yourself Saturday workouts I can think of. So you're going to see, of course, some of the benchmark traditional Meet Yourself Saturday workouts on Saturday, but there are going to be some new ones that are going to be pretty brutal. I think you guys will enjoy. Remember, Meet Yourself Saturday workouts 100% optional. We encourage you to hit up at least a couple in a cycle if you can. You can kind of cherry pick them. A lot of people do them every Saturday, which is great. Now that I am done moving, done traveling, I'll be hitting up every single Meet Yourself Saturday workout over the next 12 weeks. And if you want to join me, you absolutely should. So more new ones on the way. It's going to be pretty awesome. All right, now let's talk briefly about the fitness test, because I just want to give a quick overview of kind of resources that you guys already have access to. You'll see it in the programming, obviously, when it pops up, but some other resources you have. So the Into3 fitness test was developed to test all the energy systems and strength that we wanted to in a like I said, a very short period of time. I wanted to be able to test athletes like in one day. Or over the course of 2 days, as opposed to having to test people over 2 weeks. So I could get a great snapshot of where a hole might be in their fitness and how they can improve. And that's why we developed this last year, and we've had thousands and thousands of athletes run through it, and it's given us some pretty phenomenal data points. Now I'm going to go over some quick metrics, but in the spreadsheet you have access to, it does have male and female standards. The screenshots I have in today's presentation, I'm pretty sure are just the male standards. But the female standards are in the spreadsheet where you go in and enter your data, and it pops out with like what level you're at and everything. So all you need to do the fitness test is a kettlebell, place to run, and then you also need a barbell for the lifting portions. But in the members area right now, so crew.into3fitness.com, you have a library. You have a lot of goods there. If you haven't checked it out, so a lot of people spend 99% of their time in the app, the Team Builder app, which is great. That's where you get your training done. But if you go to the library, that's also included with your membership, we have a ton of resources for you in there. Some nutritional recipes. You get access to all of our educational webinars we've had, everything from cold showers to HRV to bandit training to nutrition protocols, everything, intermittent fasting we've covered in webinars previous, because we do one per month. You can access all that stuff. And another thing you have access to is the Into3 fitness test. And so you can actually watch me on camera doing this in my backyard, former backyard, and you can see how it's done. I go in detail, giving you all the tips and tricks. Like I said, it'll also be in the app, but if you guys want to dive a little bit deeper, other things you have access to there is you can kind of print off a scorecard. If you want to actually print it out and keep it in your garage, it's a PDF. Download it and just start entering in your scores. And let's see, also have here's kind of what it is. Now you have the squat, press, and deadlift are the three lifts that we'll be hitting. So we're going to see if you got stronger in those three lifts. which are our primary area of focus and what we're interested in right now. And then you can get the 10x11 strength test. That's all this is in the members area. So 10x11 strength test is a pressing test with a kettlebell. It's basically a 10 rep max with a kettlebell. There's a 10-second battle test with the right and left arm. And then the 6-minute max meters and 3 minutes max kettlebell snatch. So, and those are kind of the ranges you have to be in different levels. And all of this is in the members area. Someone just asked, where can I access the printable materials again? So crew.end3fitness.com. That's the membership side. You can log in. If you're not logged in already, it'll be at the top right-hand corner. Or you can just go to end3fitness.com and log in. It'll redirect you. And you can access this in the crash course of your Garage Gym Athlete membership. And you guys will have access to all of this test broken down. Now, I'm just kind of giving you a heads up for people who have not taken it or haven't taken it in a while. Most of you are familiar with it. And like I said, it'll all be in the app. So you'll see the videos, demonstrations, and everything in the programming once we start taking the test. But it's a pretty cool test. I'm excited for people to take it. And yeah, it's gonna be good stuff. All right, now I wanted to kind of blow through that stuff, the End3 Fitness test and some of the announcements. If you guys have any questions about those, I wanted to talk more about the new cycles. And this should only take about 10 to 15 minutes because what I'm going to do is give you a kind of a broad overview of what we're programming towards, and then sample programming, like in-depth sample programming, will come out via PDF like we always do. We email that out after the fact. And so if that's going to be a question, I know it's like, okay, can I see an example? And I'm happy to answer that question on the webinar, but I feel like it's harder to like show you a list of a week of workouts and be like, okay, did you get that? And then next slide. So I'm going to talk about kind of big picture programming, what I'm doing, and then you guys can get the sample programming before the next cycle starts to really make the best decision. All right, new cycles, Garage Gym Athlete, let's talk about it. So we have 3 tracks. We really have 4 tracks: hard to kill, shred, strength, and there is no gear. And the reason I don't have no gear listed is because the no gear track follows a very incremental approach. So it follows hard to kill. It basically follows the hard to kill style of programming, but a bodyweight version of that. And what we do in the no gear track is we run 4 weeks of our one-man system program. You guys are probably familiar with that program, one of our part of the one-man series in no gear track. And then we do 12 weeks worth of programming, and then 4 weeks one-man system, and it just repeats to another 12 weeks worth of programming, kind of following the hard to kill track, 4 weeks one-man system, and it keeps going down that. So it works in kind of a 16-week wave for no gear, and that we do that to frequently test our athletes. And so I won't be talking about that one because, like I said, it adheres to the principles of the hard to kill track. But here we have hard to kill, shred, and strength. Now, we stopped naming the cycles about 1 or 2 cycles ago, but I'm naming them again. I brought the names back because it got hard internally as a team to refer to things. That was a big part too, is like, hey, when did we do, X, Y, and Z? Maybe me and Joe or me and Ashley be talking about it. It's like, well, that was 2 cycles ago, week 3. It's like, well, that's confusing. And I think it fires you guys up a little more to have cool names to them. So what do we have? Hard to kill. This week, or this 12 weeks, next week, 12 weeks is called Valor. And you might want to look up the definition of that word. It is like one step up from grit. A synonym would be bravery. So it is not going to be easy. I didn't pick the name just because it's cool, because I really think what we're going to be hitting in hard to kill is going to be very challenging, probably more than you've been pushed or challenged in a while, and it's going to be very taxing. So if you're ready to take on hard to kill, it's going to be a difficult track. That is where a majority of our athletes are at, just barely. It's almost split between shred and hard to kill. The amount of athletes we have, but it's going to be pretty difficult 12 weeks. I'm just warning you, and I'll talk more about it here in the next over the next couple minutes. And then we have yoke for shred. Maybe you guys are familiar with the yoked definition. Someone kind of getting yoked in the gym, you're building a lot of muscle, and that's pretty much what we're going to be doing with shred, and that is building muscle. We're really going to focus on that, and I'll talk more about that in detail as we go. Strength is going to be strike, and I put STR-K because we did air strike on Hard to Kill a while back. I don't know if you guys remember that. And it was an aerobic endurance plus strength, and it's STR-K, really just because K stands for kinetic. We're gonna be moving dynamically fast weights. So that's kind of what we did at the beginning of the Hard to Kill track this last 12 weeks. Strength will be moving towards that, because we've been doing not as much dynamic effort lifting over the last couple weeks. We've been doing some, but haven't been focusing on it as much. So we're bringing back what I call the missing element to the strength track, which is just more dynamic effort lifting, making sure people are getting fast. If you're fast, you're powerful. If you're powerful, you're strong. So that's what we're doing in the strength track. And I kind of give descriptions of like what you could expect to be like an operator, anybody who depends on their fitness, anyone who wants to be incredibly well-rounded at a really high level, but doesn't need to excel in any one level, is where you'd want to be, where you'd be if you want to be in Hard to Kill. Shred, we're going to keep you super functional. Now there's going to be a lot more aerobic training this time in Shred, kind of to normally Hard to Kill has been our more aerobic version, but Shred will have the most aerobic work in it over any other track right now. And there's going to be a lot of functional bodybuilding style work. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment as well. Now, strength is just other guy strong. I call it other guy strong because a lot of strength athletes in their garage are not really focusing on dynamic effort lifting while also being conditioned. So no, we never have like a pure strength track where you're not going to do any conditioning. If you wanted to not do the conditioning, you could, but ultimately you will be doing some very low level, high intensity. I mean, low time domain, high intensity conditioning in the strength track to coincide with the strength training like we typically do with a lot of dynamic effort lifting. Now, what will we specifically be doing? We're going to be doing strength on the Hard to Kill as traditional. We'll be going in a couple of different 4-week waves, following Prilipin's chart. And what we're doing is taking some of the most proven, I looked over the last 12 months, what was the most proven strength work that we had, as a population, as a community, and how could I tweak that, use it, and make it better. So we're going to be following a template with some changes that have gained the most PRs pound for pound in our community ever, is going to be the strength work that we're doing in Hard to Kill. And so I won't get on all the ins and outs of what that programming is, just because it doesn't really matter. It's just all that matters is this will get you strong, hands down. Like I've seen some people on Instagram posting like someone just recently hit 1,000-pound PR at Fort Bliss, Texas. Not sure if he's on the webinar, but he's following the Hard to Kill track, and he's like, yeah, I didn't expect to get so strong on this track. We take a huge strength emphasis on the Hard to Kill track, and so there's going to be that. Now, GPS is our three different energy systems. We don't use the technical terms because it's not as cool to say creatine phosphate, glycolytic, oxidative. It's not super cool. It doesn't make sense to most people. So what we call them are gain, pain, and sustain. So gain being, it could be lifting or really short burst intensity stuff. Pain is that stuff that really makes you want to really just die. You like 2 minutes all out on the rower or something like that. And then sustain is that aerobic work. And how we're going to actually operate it over the next 12 weeks is there's going to be one 4-week session where all of our conditioning is going to be towards the gain energy system. So complete laser focus on one energy system for 4 weeks. And then the next 4 weeks, a complete laser focus on the pain energy system. And then the last 4 weeks, a complete laser focus on sustain. Now we will have, small amounts of GP and S in the weeks just to maintain what you've kind of built up, but we'll have a huge laser focus each of the 4 weeks like that. It's going to be really awesome because one, it's going to keep your head in the game. You're going to know, okay, this is a 3-week progression. I'm going to get really good at something, and then I'm going to have a deload, and then I'm going to hop into something new. And so it's going to keep you mentally fresh, and also helps with athletes if they, say you got sick in week, in the gain portion, just jump into the pain portion. You're going to be fine. relatively speaking, and you'll go on. Now, other things that we will be introducing this cycle on hard to kill that we haven't done before is some isometric contraction work. And that's just like doing some holds and muscle contractions for lengths of time. And then also some breath work. And what do I mean by breath work? We won't just be doing breathing protocol, but we'll be doing things like nasal breathing on a bike ride, or nasal only breathing for 3 minutes on, and then a 1 minute walk. We'll be incorporating some breathing instructions to some of our conditioning workouts. Helps a lot with recovery, helps a lot with teaching you just how to breathe, how to intake oxygen. And so that's going to get pretty interesting on the hard to kill track. It won't be every single time. We're really introducing this like slowly. You might see it once per week. And you won't see it at all towards the beginning because we need you breathing during some of the more intense energy system. However, whether that's through your nose, mouth, or any other way you can intake oxygen. But you will see breath work and isometric contractions coming in the hard to kill programming. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a really cool cycle. I'm excited for Valor. Now, moving on to yoke. What are we going to be doing? We're going to be doing a lot of eccentric muscle contractions and aerobic work. That's the easiest way I could put it down. Eccentric muscle contractions. So the way I normally explain this to people who aren't familiar is eccentric part of a lift is the part of the lift that no one cares about on Instagram. And that may sound funny, but like seriously, so if you're thinking about the squat, if you're to post a video of you squatting, people really only care that you stood the weight up, right? They want to see you get all the way down, and they want to see you squat it up. They just want to see the up. And same with like a pull-up. They want to see you pull your chin over the bar. But the part no one cares about is lowering yourself down from that pull-up or lowering yourself down from that squat. So the eccentric part is where the muscle is stretching, elongating, and it's what no one cares about. No one cares to see. But we're going to be working on the eccentric portion a lot. Why? Because it builds muscle, and it builds muscle in a major way. This is studied, researched. I've had 3 different guests on podcasts recently to talk about eccentric muscle contractions specifically, and it's going to be great for anyone on the shred track. So why are we doing it? Again, build muscle. We are looking to build as much muscle as we can over the next 12 weeks on the shred track. But we're going to be doing aerobic work in conditioning. And that's very important to highlight because you don't have to worry about like, okay, I'm going to go on the shred track and gain all this muscle. Does that mean I'm going to gain weight? Well, we're primarily going to be doing aerobic conditioning work. We're really not going to focus as much on the other energy systems with shred this cycle because one of the best ways to burn fat is going to be through aerobic or oxidative conditioning. And we're going to be doing a lot of it in shred. And so we're going to be trying to build as much muscle while also trying to burn as much body fat as we can. And if you couple this or, join it with things like intermittent fasting, you're going to see some phenomenal results just from the simple things that intermittent fasting can do, like growth hormone, testosterone increase, and then also what aerobic work is going to do for weight loss. It's going to be really, really great. I'm excited about the shred cycle. A lot of, cutting edge stuff here. I've been working with, let's see, we're having a few people can't hear me. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Just saw that popping up in the chat. Okay, Jason can hear. Okay, great. Okay, cool. I'm going to keep going. The people who can't hear, maybe try exiting out and coming back in. I'm glad most everyone can still hear me. All right, so shred, a lot of focus on muscle growth and aerobic conditioning, and hopefully that makes sense with why we're doing those two in conjunction. And the thing to point out that's really important on shred, I mentioned those accelerators at the beginning, and this is shred. The shred track specifically is a big reason we're putting out those accelerators, because I have people ask me all the time, if I want to gain some muscle. I want my bicep to be bigger, my chest to be bigger, whatever, like which track should I go on? I say shred, and they're like, well, shred is about losing and cutting. And that's why I really want to change the name to the shred track to body composition, because you and I could train the same way. But if I am really focused on eating a caloric deficit, doing intermittent fasting, and just focusing on those things, I'm probably going to cut, shred, lose weight. If you do the same exact training as me on shred, but you're like, no, I'm going to be at a caloric surplus, I'm going to eat really healthy, clean, but I eat a lot of it, you're probably going to gain muscle and gain some weight. But it's going to be the weight that you wanted to gain, not just fat. And so you really can change the direction you want to go in shred just by focusing on your nutrition. And if you guys have questions about either of those, our two most popular tracks, please let me know. You can start throwing it in the chat now, and I will get to it towards the end. Now, the strength is we're focusing on that missing element. So not a lot of sexy stuff going on in strength. And to be honest, because there's not a lot of sexy stuff in strength training, we can get into the weeds with it, but really the strength track is there to get people PRs, to get you stronger, and then get you moved on to hard to kill or shred track. If you want to, you could stay on the strength track forever if you'd like and just keep hitting PRs, but it's really just aimed at getting you stronger. And so we're focusing on a lot of dynamic effort lifting with short burst conditioning like we typically do conditioning wise on the strength track. All right, guys, and that are the new cycles. What I'd like to do now, quickly go over kind of how should you pick, and giving you some of the tips that I normally give people for, like, okay, should I be on this one, or this one, based off of my goals. And if you have any specific questions on how I could help you, then I'd love to answer those. All right. So Valor, this is hard to kill track. Remember, if you want to be a jack of all trades but master of none, and that's really what I consider myself. I'm a fairly strong individual. I'm fairly fast. I can hold my own in a lot of different workouts with a lot of different people, but I'm not winning. I'm not winning the 5K. I'm not winning the powerlifting meet. I'm not winning the CrossFit competition, but I'm pretty good at all of them. You know what I mean? That's where you want to be in the hard to kill track. Is you really want to be good at a lot of things. You want to be ready for anything. You want to be ready for a Spartan race, to go ruck challenges, to whatever. You just want to be ready at all times. I really think hard to kill track is the best bet for you there. Now, yoke is going to be, if you're looking to really gain muscle, and you want to, burn at the same time, you're really going to have to focus on your nutrition, but a lot of aerobic work. So if you feel like your aerobic work is lacking, and you want to focus a little bit more on body composition, which is no issue. Like, if you want to focus on body comp work, this 12-week cycle of shred is the time to do it. And you're not going to lose your overall conditioning when you're building muscle, because we're doing so much aerobic work, but you could possibly lose a little bit of the lower tiered energy systems. So like your 1 to 2 minute range burst type stuff, you might lose. And if that's not that important to you, which it's not most important to most people in a day-to-day life situation, then you'd be fine doing that. And then what we do on the strength track, functional strength at the highest level. So I'm trying to make you a functional human being through the conditioning that coincides with the strength training, and then just make the strength training the best that we possibly can at the functional level. So having that dynamic, as I said, making you fast, making you powerful, which makes you strong. And I put these in here. I'll go ahead and list them all out. So hard to kill, you're looking to conquer something like a Spartan beast. You would be fine in the hard to kill track, but you'd also be fine in the shred track this time. That's not something I say every single time. But because of the aerobic work, you're going to be able to, and the Spartan beast is 13 miles of obstacles. Hard to kill if you're looking more for general health. You want, good biomarkers, things like that. You want to be able to crush Murph and crush Meet Yourself Saturday workouts, just because you know how to grind, you know how to suffer. That's going to be the hard to kill track. Hopefully I'm not scaring anybody off from hard to kill. Normally I say things like that and more people sign up for it. But then we have the shred track, Spartan, Super, Spartan, Beast. So you're looking to do 9 to 13 miles with obstacles. You'd be great doing the shred track. LGN, does anybody know what that stands for? I'm gonna let you throw some guesses in the chat. If your goal is to LGN on the shred track. I'll get a sip of water. Look good naked. That didn't take long. Exactly. Yeah. So if you want to look good naked, guys, that is the shred track. One of the missions and objectives is the shred track every time, look good naked. Now, obviously, following any strength and conditioning program for a long period of time is going to make you look good naked, but we do have a little bit more body composition focus in shred. So yeah, look good naked, and you'll still be good at Meet Yourself Saturday workouts, but you're not going to be grinding as much in a mental toughness sense of the word in the shred track. And I'm going to talk to the athletes towards the end about helping you pick. Then that's what I was saying, Stacy, is LGN is really like it's an outcome of any good health, strength fitness program, strength and conditioning program, but we have a lot of body comp work on shred. And then to be honest, if you're on the strength track, I wouldn't recommend going and hitting up a Spartan Super or Beast. You might be able to handle them, but you would probably not be the best performance-wise. And you're pretty good at Meet Yourself Saturdays, but from the data we have, a lot of our strength athletes skip Meet Yourself Saturday because a lot of them are either have too much volume or they're just too aerobic, and strength athletes aren't typically looking to get that aerobic. So if you want to go Valor, desire gradual increase in all areas. And I always emphasize this on the hard to kill track. We are not looking for huge gains. While they do happen, like I had 40-pound PRs in not this past cycle because I was on no gear for most of it, but the previous cycle, I hit some pretty ridiculous PRs on hard to kill. But typically what we're looking for are gradual increases in all areas. So I want to bump down the mile time, get you a little bit faster. I want to bump up your strength a little bit and just slowly do it without going crazy in any one area. And so looking at 12 weeks, 24 weeks, things like that, if you want to be in the hard to kill track. Now you want to have some performance, be on shred, and you want to go muscle growth and caloric burn. With how we're going to be structuring the workouts in shred, if you were actually like, hey, which one's going to burn the most calories? It will be shred. Because strength training burns a lot of calories, and we're going to be doing eccentric, which burns even more calories than normal strength training. And then we're also going to be doing aerobic, which, like, if you are running, burns a ton of calories. So caloric burn wise, shred is the place to go. And you're going to obviously have some performance there. And we're focusing on muscle growth heavily that cycle. And then if you desire or need strength and power, you're going to want to be on the strength track. So if you're like, man, I really don't feel like I'm as strong as I could be. Maybe you take the fit test and you're like, maybe strength should be my goal right now. Some athletes do that. They focus on strength for 4 to 8 weeks, or maybe even a full 12-week cycle, and then they hop onto another track, or they just stay there. We have some athletes who've been on strength track for a long time, hitting plenty of PRs. So if you're on PR shirt as fast as possible, then you can be on the strength track. All right, that is pretty much it for that portion. I just want to help people decide. I'm going to start answering questions in a minute, but I just want to throw in a few things. So can I get some sample training? Yes, we always send out a PDF via email. It's not coming out this week. It's coming out next week. We're going to send out a PDF where you get access to a sample week of all three. And the only reason I do this is so you can actually see it, because there's one thing I kind of talked conceptually about what our goals are, how the programming is going to be, but taking a look at the workouts and just saying, would I enjoy doing that? Does this track look more fun than this track? And seeing kind of what 1 week looks like, so you can make the best decision when it's time to go to kick off the new cycles. The second thing, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, do you want to look a certain way? Because they're all functional. So if you're like, hey, look, I just want to be healthy, be able to play with my kids and keep up with them and do stuff like that, pretty much all of our tracks are going to do that for you. So let's go one step beyond that. What's your goal? Is your goal, do you want to look a certain way? Then, okay, shred track. Do you want to be able to really perform at your highest level? Okay, let's go hard to kill. Are you just like PR, like you want to crush the barbell? You want to see what it's like to lift some phenomenal weights that you've never lifted before? Go strength track. What is your goal, kind of your selfish motivation beyond just, we have a lot of athletes who say, I just want to be healthy, and I get that. I'm like that. But there's got to be one other thing itching, I think, at the back of your mind that you really want to achieve. Answer that question, and I think you know which track you should be on. All right, now advice to my long-term athletes. We have a lot of athletes who've been here for several 12-week cycles. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. It's really awesome to see you hitting cycle after cycle, but maybe switch it up. If you're like, we do a lot of heavy lifting in hard to kill, and it gets taxing. And if you've been on hard to kill for like 24 weeks and you're like, man, this is kind of brutal. We lift really heavy. I'm getting stronger, but man, it's kind of tough. Go to shred for 12 weeks and then come back to hard to kill, because we're going to be doing, you won't lose your strength gains. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff, working on muscle growth and still keeping you strong. So my only advice to long-term athletes is do not be afraid to mix it up. Do whatever you need, do whatever you want to, but don't be afraid to mix it up. And then lastly, what do you need to be able to do? We have a lot of firefighters, law enforcement, military guys. I'm always going to recommend that you be on the hard to kill track. I just think that, especially if you legitimately have a deployment coming up or something like that, that would be the best place I could put you to have you ready for combat or ready for your job. That's not to say like everyone deploys in a different capacity and their job's a little bit different. So you could be on the shred track and be perfectly fine. Shred track would actually probably help a lot with most military PT tests right now because of the aerobic conditioning. But if you are really concerned, like at an operator level, like I need to be in like prime shape for deployment or something like that, you want to be a hard to kill track. And then lastly, guys, and I mentioned it, this is why we give the sample training. What will be the most fun for you? What is going to be fun? What is going to be the most fun for you? What do you think that you would enjoy? That's why you can take a look and you're like, you know what? The shred goal sounds appealing to me, but the hard to kill workouts look way more fun. Then go hard to kill. If you just want to have fun and you want to enjoy your training and stick to it, be consistent, complete those green dots, then go to hard to kill and knock that out. Do what's going to be fun for you. Now we get these two big questions. So everyone's going to be on the fit test. Every single person's going to be on the fit test. Doesn't matter if you're a strength, doesn't matter if you're strength, hard to kill, shred. Everybody's calendar is going to look same when we roll into testing. So it doesn't really matter which track you're on until the beginning of October into September area. So we do send out a track change request form. And so we will be sending out that. So if you want to switch tracks, and you can always switch tracks at any time by letting us know. We're trying to push people more towards that form because the Facebook group, it can get lost. And so that's also like why we have the PR fill out, because sometimes we can miss a PR in the Facebook group. So we want you to fill out the PR form, where we know we get a notification like, hey, this is a task that we need to knock out, so on and so forth. So those two questions come up quite a bit. But now, any questions? I'm going to run over to the admin section and see what we got. Will the nutritional mode have vegan options? So what we're going to be putting out, if you're talking about like kind of the accelerators, Kelly asked this question. If you're talking about the accelerators, we're not going to be giving like specific meal plans. We're giving more nutritional guidelines and advice from a caloric and macronutrient standpoint. So you could be vegan and follow the accelerator advice when we launch those things. So when are the accelerators getting sent out? So the accelerators will be sent out the first week of the new program, which will be the very beginning of October. Mark, as a recruit level athlete, sounds like strength track is my best option. Would that be a good assumption? Yes. I would say you're pretty safe I would say for this cycle, you're pretty safe to join strength or shred because shred will have a lot of I call it safe strength work in it, because it's just overloading your muscle and aerobic work. And those two things are really safe for, all the way down to just starting out with fitness. So you would be okay on the shred track. But if you really want to gain strength, then yeah, that would be a great place for you as well. Yeah, so maybe not the right time, place to ask. Is building muscle and burning fat simultaneous? Is it possible, basically? Yeah, so yes, it absolutely is. But it's not easy to do. So the typical macronutrient recommendation that we recommend for this is a 33% split on protein, fat, and carbohydrates, and it takes a long time. So you absolutely can build muscle while burning fat. But there are some people who say that's like gimmicky or whatever, but the science just doesn't even support it. It's easier to do one or the other. It's easy to just burn fat or build muscle. That's why bodybuilders do like these different phases of like cutting and bulking, but you can absolutely do both at the same time. You just have to be way, way more patient and not expect like, oh, the 6-week muscle shred, those are where that whole term gets like blown out of proportion, is when, P90X puts out their new 4-week program that's going to, melt fat and burn and build 15 pounds of muscle mass. Well, it takes like 6 months to do that. It doesn't take 4 weeks. So but it is possible. So how does testing work for No Gear? So No Gear tests on the one-man system. So the one-man system has kind of baseline workouts, has baseline, we do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, squats. We do testing, how many repetitions you do in a minute with some running. So that's how one-man tests. One-man system doesn't, or that's how one-man system tests, and that's how we test in No Gear Track. Stacy asks, what is your advice for someone who currently can only work out at Planet Fitness with Smith machines and light dumbbells, hoping to move to a house with a garage and set my gym up soon? But for now, Planet Fitness for us. I mean, if you have access to Planet Fitness, you're going to be just fine. You just do the workouts. Like, the only problem with like Smith machines or Smith machine squats, one, you lose a little bit of the stability that is needed or is beneficial in a squat. But you just lift more weight technically, right? You put more weight on the bar because it's assisted and you're not actually lifting a 45-pound barbell. So it absolutely works. It's just not as functional. But if you have access to a full gym like that, you won't. It's other athletes we have are athletes that in a garage with very limited equipment who it's hard for them to do some of our stuff. If you're in a full gym like that, you can do everything. You might just have to, modify to some degree, like a Smith machine squat as opposed to a normal squat. What gear will I need for hard to kill track in the next cycle? So typically what we have for people, pull-up bar, kettlebell, dumbbell if you want, barbell, some plates. A lot of people do enjoy having a machine because running can get old. But you don't need it. You can always run, but you can bike. And that's something I'd like to point out is I will actually be biking a lot this cycle because I want to. I want to do some road bike races, and so most of my conditioning I'll be doing a road bike, so not even an Airdyne, like actually on the road bike. So you can do that kind of stuff too. And I think that's about it equipment wise. All right, I think got that one going. Craig says, do you usually recommend doing a cutting phase first and then a muscle gain phase, or vice versa? This would be for someone who wants to be as strong as they can be yet lean. I think that question would be really specific to you as an individual. Like, what is your specific body fat percentages? How much weight are you trying to lose? Because like I said, on the shred track, we're trying to build muscle and burn some fat at the same time. But if you have like 40 or 50 pounds to lose, and I'm not saying you do, this is just an example. If you had 40 or 50 pounds to lose, it might be better just to lose as much weight as you can and then build from there. But if you're sitting at less than that, and you're just looking to gradually lose weight, I wouldn't go on one specific, cut versus gain cycle. I wouldn't worry about that as much. Will hard to kill incorporate slosh pipes next cycle? We will have some stability work and isometric contraction work, but I try and stay away from things like slosh pipes only because not everyone has one. But there will be opportunities for you to use it for sure. There may or may not be a Meet Yourself Saturday workout coming that involves a slosh pipe. Just saying, but there won't be a lot in the day-to-day programming. I have bad shin splints a lot. Still trying to fix my run stride, but until I get that down, what's the better option to do when I'm hurting? Is ruck my best option if I don't have other equipment? If you have no other equipment, excuse me, you could ruck. You could do, some athletes have said that they are doing burpees, which not officially my recommendation, but some athletes have been doing burpees in place when we're doing like, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. If you can get access to a bike, and I'm not talking about like an $800 Airdyne, I'm talking about like a $50 Walmart bike, because it would help you out in the time being, right? If you could get access to a legitimate bike, something at Walmart, nothing crazy expensive. It doesn't need to be, Like the bike I'm using, like some of you may know, is the one I used in the 100-mile bike race. It's a steel framed, single speed, awful bike I got on Amazon for like less than $100, and I use it all the time. So I recommend getting a bike if you can. That would help a lot with your shin splints needing to heal. If that's out of the budget, then yeah, you could do some rucking or some burpees. Jumping probably wouldn't be good for that either, so I might stay away from double unders. All right. Let's see if I've missed anything. All right. Let's see. I think stationary bike or road bike. Yeah, I would just do a road bike. Like I said, they're super cheap and you could still do the conditioning. So if we're doing 6 minutes on, 1 minute off, then you could just do your bike as hard as you can, 6 minutes, rest 1 minute. All right, Jared, I got to ask, what track are you going with or leaning towards? I was wondering if I get this question. I always almost do the shred track because my background, first starting off in fitness was a buys and tries guy, building muscle. And I'm still really torn. But I will probably go hard to kill just because there's a big part of me that enjoys hard things, and hard to kill this time will be hard. So I will probably be on the hard to kill track and then maybe shred after this one. I think I always say that, but I've been keeping on hard to kill for now. If you had a bad cycle, is there an alternative to testing? So what do you mean? Like, like instead of testing, like could you test something else, like a different form of testing? If you could clarify that. And then I think I'll get a bike out in the burb so I can hit a back trail. Thanks. Yep. Bike training. Any thoughts on 5% down adjustment for max heart rate for bike intervals? You could. I haven't found that to be true in my, this is not, I haven't found that to be true in my personal training because I've been implementing the bike more recently and trying to stick to heart rate zones. It is more challenging to hit the heart rate on a bike, especially because if you're going downhill or if there's any sort of grade that's negative going down, then you don't have to work as hard and you can't really. So I would try and get the bike around a hill or put it on the highest gear if you have gears. But I haven't found that to be true to need to go down, but I see what you're saying. So I would say within a range. So because it's hard to maintain perfectly. So if I say, hey, I want you at 80% max heart rate, I'd say plus or minus 3 to 5%. So if you can get, 75 to 77% up to 83 to 85%, you would be okay. All right, let's see. Okay, standard programming. Oh, so since we're not doing fit, I think Adam, I'm thinking maybe you don't want to test, and so you're wondering what. So we're not doing fit week. It's not 2 weeks. It's only 1 week. I would do the testing anyway if you really don't want to. If you just want to do some like normal programming without having to do any testing, then you could flip back in your calendar and hit up a week like way back in the past or do something like that. Or you could go into the library I was talking about and hit up one of the programs for a week that we have in there, anything like that. Any different advice for the older athlete on the hard to kill track? So I think the hard to kill track, and this is my honest opinion, is going to be very well suited towards what I call seasoned athletes, or masters athletes, if you will. And the only reason I say that is because of how we will be doing the conditioning. The conditioning that we're doing, like I said, we're going laser focused on different energy pathways. And that takes a lot of time in a individual training session. So when we do that, there won't be a lot of other time to do other things. So what that looks like in hard to kill, that means one day will kind of be strength focused. The next day will kind of be conditioning focused. The next day will kind of be, more Z lift type, stability type focused. So we'll have this very unilateral approach to each and every single day. And what I found is that helps seasoned athletes. It helps all athletes, but I think it really helps seasoned athletes to not have to focus on as many different things. And that way it could be 3 days between lifting. And so you are better recovered the next time that you do lift. So I do think if you're a seasoned athlete looking to, wonder which track you should be on, it's probably going to be the strength track or the hard to kill track. Stacy says, back in the day with the Accelerate program, there's a mental toughness thing that we went with a day's workout. Will that be added to any of the programs? So that should be available to you 100% of the time in the members area. If you log into the Into 3 Fitness website, there should be, it's not called, what are we, mindset. Yeah, it's just called mindset training now. It's 21 days. And so you can go through that. But I do recommend that everyone goes through those first 21 days at the beginning of every cycle. Michael says, I struggle to hit heart rate zone above 75 to 80% despite giving best effort suggestions. Interesting. I think Joe kind of has this problem because his resting heart rate's like 25. But I'm trying to think. I would ask what you're using to track your heart rate just to make sure that's accurate, because trying to get it up, if you really can't get it up, then like I would find like a hill or something. I don't know what kind of conditioning specifically, like on the rower, it can be hard for me, but the Airdyne is never hard for me to get the heart rate up. But I would try and run at an incline if you're running, just to make it a little bit more difficult. Now your mile times, whatnot, will be a little bit slower, but that's fine because we're trying to get your heart rate to a certain area. So I would just try and make whatever you're doing harder. Okay, you described how the GPS will be structured into 4-week blocks for this hard to kill. Could you provide a little more detail on that? I'm trying to envision how it will be different from what we're doing now. Okay, so right now, like in the hard to kill track, we were taking a very heavily aerobic focused training. Just in general, we were doing mixed modal aerobic training. So you're seeing a lot of 30-minute AMRAPs, 20-minute AMRAPs. You're seeing these longer aerobic runs, so 6-minute bouts, 1-minute rest, things like that we did this week. And so to be honest, this hard to kill track, we dabbled in the other energy systems, but we were very much aerobic focused, even though we're doing mixed modal aerobic work. So these Metcon type workouts, but they are aerobic in nature most of the time. I'd say 80% of our workouts were. And you won't see any of that in the 4 weeks. So when we go into gain to look at that energy system, gain training, you only need to be, putting in a maximum effort for anywhere from 0 to 15 seconds. So that will be your conditioning for 4 weeks. And, I'll obviously structure it in different ways. But it's going to be very different really from what you've been seeing. Now, the last 4 weeks of hard to kill will be more similar to what you've seen the last 12 weeks, because we'll be in that aerobic zone. You'll see mixed modal aerobic training come back. But we have not done a lot of gain, and we have not done a lot of pain over the last 12 weeks with hard to kill. So you're just going to be seeing, at least in the first 8 weeks, shorter and much more intense training sessions is, I guess, the way I would put it. But there'll be a lot of rest time and a lot of them. So it's not like we're going to do 2 rounds of 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off and be done. There'll be those training days will be, a lot of that in one training session. So hopefully that kind of answers the question there. When is testing week? Next week we'll start testing, and it should all fit into 1 week. It might run a little bit over because we still have some time left here in September. But yeah, the next week you'll start seeing testing pop up. Yep. Let's see if I have anything else. New warm-up variants will be nice. Yeah, guys, there's a lot of ways we could improve. So when we send out that survey, let us know if you like. We'll add new warm-ups. One thing that we're doing right now, and Joe is working on, all new mobility for the next 12 weeks. You'll have new mobility sessions and stability sessions at the end of your workouts. Yeah. If you want to see crazy gain in strength, also plow through. Boom. Awesome. Yeah. The term seasoned athlete is way better, right? As a recruit level athlete, I've noticed some programs include an Olympic list. I have no training or background in these. What's your advice for learning proper form so I could eventually take a track that would incorporate these? I would just hop on the strength track because we won't be doing any real Olympic lifting in there. Now, how could you get better at Olympic lifting? I mean, a lot of YouTube videos. We have some videos. You could send us videos that we can review, but it takes a lot of work with a coach, and we're happy to work with you to help you there. But if you're looking to kind of avoid them, then go on the strength track. You won't see it as much. How early does the programming get posted on the app? I think Ashley posted. Yeah, it does depend on where you're at in the world. Where I'm at in Texas, it posts late Saturday night, and I see it for the next week, and it posts for 7 days at a time. So you can see it on Saturday for that next full week. All right, I think I got. So Dominic asked, currently on HK, love it. Next cycle sounds fun. I loved fun in quotes, but I feel I should gain strength. However, I also enjoyed the hard grinding stuff of H2K. With that, would you suggest strength or hard to kill offhand? So like I said, the interesting thing about this 12-week cycle and hard to kill is it is the most proven from a data standpoint strength that we've ever done, specifically in hard to kill for people hitting PRs. So you are going to gain strength on the hard to kill track. So if you want to gain some strength and you like the grind, it's going to be fun for you. I would go hard to kill because you always have to look at what are you going to have fun doing? What are you going to stick to? If you just think that you should gain strength, so you should go strength, but that's not fun for you and you don't think you'd enjoy it for a full 3 months, then maybe you should just do hard to kill. Maybe the PRs won't be as big, but you're still going to get stronger. You're still going to hit PRs. Yes. What color is my dog? I have a, I was hoping someone would ask at the end. So I have a 4-pound Chihuahua, and she is black and white. She's tiny, and I take no credit for purchasing that dog. It was my wife's decision many, many years ago when we were still dating, and the dog is still kicking, still alive. But yeah, black and white, color of my dog. All right, guys, any other questions? I really enjoy everybody being on. We're doing a lot of cool stuff this cycle with the accelerators, putting in a lot of work for you guys there. Hopefully it helps. If you have any questions about those, they're going to be a lot of fun. The Green Dot Challenge, please, please, please participate in that. Don't be a Debbie Downer about the Green Dot post in the group happening, because it's awesome to see everybody crushing their workouts, and it should motivate you to see that in your Facebook feed over and over again, and remind you to go tackle it. This is going to be a great cycle, and I'm looking forward to doing it with you guys. Will there be more info on the Green Dot in Facebook? Absolutely. So just at a basic level, I give you an assignment each week, and it'll be like, hey, post a picture, a screenshot from your phone of your green dots, meaning you completed all that week's workouts, and something else. So normally it'll be like, post a picture of your Green Dot Challenge in the Facebook group and tell me the hardest workout you've ever done. And what happens is if you do that, and we see it, we see the Green Dot Challenge, and you follow the instructions, then you get entered to win whatever that week's prize is. And so you just post it like you're posting in the Facebook group, like if you had a question or wanted to post a video or something. You post it in there, we see it, we track it, we log it, and then you get entered to win cool stuff. Then everyone else sees it too, and they get motivated to get out of bed and get their ass to work. And so that's the big reason we do it, is to keep people consistent and keep after their goals. But there will be more instructions in Facebook once we start firing it off. I'm excited to get that fired up again. It was a lot of fun when we did it in April. All right, guys, any more questions for me? Yeah, no problem, Jason. I'll stick around for another minute, see if anybody has any questions. All right, just thought of this. Sorry, I was thinking switching to a running workout for 12 weeks. Strength is pretty good, but my run times are nowhere near my old PRs. Any thoughts? Yeah, so are you talking about doing running primarily as conditioning or doing a running program in conjunction with one of the tracks? And typically, I can kind of answer both. Like I'm going to take a bike emphasis personally, and that's just because of some of the goals I have. So almost all my conditioning will be either on the Airdyne or a bike the next 12 weeks because of what I'm trying to improve. And so that's what I'll be doing. If you want to get better at running, then I would say, okay, stay away from the airdyne, stay away from the bike, stay away from the any machine really, and just run. Now, if you want to do a run program in conjunction, it would just depend on what I mean, it could get pretty crazy pretty fast. With Shred and H2K seemingly focusing on strength this cycle, is the goal in muscle gain? Which would you recommend? Shred. If you want to gain and you want to do some more body composition work, so I'm talking like bench press, bicep curls, triceps, things like that, I would definitely go Shred. Michael, we are glad to have you, man. Brand new cycle. It's awesome to kick off one straight from the beginning and see kind of our full process. So glad to have you. Yeah, anytime, Eric. So Nick, man, whatever you got on the run, if you want to do a full run program in conjunction, the only thing I would say is, watch the dual conditioning. You could very quickly overtrain. And I think that you are a Whoop wearer, so you could track that pretty easily. Know if what you're doing is a detriment, basically based off of your HRV and resting heart rate. All right, I'll stick around for another minute. I appreciate everyone attending the webinar. This is a awesome one. We had a lot of people on today, and I'll be sending out a replay later if you missed any part of it or want to go over it again. But I appreciate everybody's time. And I don't see any more questions coming in, so I will bow out. All right, guys. All right, guys. Thank you. And Nick, yeah, man, hit me up offline if you want to, well, online off the webinar, if you want to talk more about that. All right, guys. Thanks for your time.